Welcome back, coders, to another video. Today we're going to be doing a quick review on the Redragon K617 SE 60% wired keyboard, transparent white edition. We're really excited to be doing this. We've reviewed a couple Redragon products in the past on the channel, and we've always kind of liked their stuff. I've been using a Redragon keyboard for a while now. But before they sent me anything, and honestly, I have really loved it. It was my first mechanical keyboard, so it was a really good starter. The Chimera, which so many of you, I'm sure, have had your hands on and have appreciated as a nice starter keyboard. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit of a step up. It's going to retail for $49.99, but we'll get you a little discount with a code below at the very end of this video. But we wanted to kind of dive in and do a quick review, a nice unbiased review of what this keyboard offers, what are some of its strong points, highlight some of its feature sets, and then get to the nitty gritty. Is it worth picking up for your setup? So we're going to be covering a whole host of different areas broken down into 4 main categories. The first one being features, second one being switches and performance, third one being RGB, and then fourth one being our overall feedback and impressions with our final thoughts. So starting off with the features, what I wanted to kind of focus on here was, first off, this is a 60% keyboard, which means that it's only what you need. It's not going to be a keyboard with a numpad or anything like that. If you're familiar with this, it's not going to be a shock, but it is a small keyboard, so it's something to keep in mind when you're picking this up. This is a wired 60% keyboard, so just keep that in mind when you're going into it. It's not a bad thing. I do wish that it was wireless or had a wireless edition. So Redragon, if you're taking notes, a wireless edition of this would be muy bonita, very beautiful. So it does also feature a very vibrant RGB with 20 presets, including dynamic themes that react to your typing. This is something that's present on a lot of RGB keyboards, but I do think that the LEDs that are being used in this are really, really high end, which we'll get into in a little bit as well. It's got a clear keycap and body design, which is one of my favorite, most striking features about this keyboard, is that it's completely transparent and it allows light to pass through extremely well. It has an easy to use and thoughtful right angle USB-C plug, which is not braided, unfortunately, but it does easily plug in and stay out of the way and allows for a nice clean setup, even though I would prefer it to be wireless. So that is just something to keep in mind when you're going about that. It also has hot swappable switches and keycaps and comes with the tool inside the box and 2 connector support for switches kind of like Otemu switches and things like that. Many of their other keyboards use Otemu switches. And as we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm not exactly sure who manufactures the switches, but this keyboard should support Otemu switches if you want to replace them. Not that you'll want to. Some negatives here. The only thing that I found about the design and feature set is that it is fully plastic, which means that the board does have some flex and feels quite light out of the box. In use, this is a minor issue and does not change the sound of the keyboard. Personally, this is user preference to me. So I would prefer a metal board just for that rigidity and like just the peace of mind that this is going to last for a very, very long time. But the plastic is high quality plastic. It feels good to the touch. It's not bad. It's just very light. Now on to switches and performance. And this is kind of the interesting part of this review because it does something a little bit that I wasn't expecting in that they use a custom switch. So I was pretty positive that I was going to open this up and figure out that the switches that are included on the board itself, which are pre-lubed, are going to be some sort of generic Otemu, special linear switch that they included. It obviously gave us some indication on the listing what kind of switches they are, but these are custom Redragon crystal switches. These are linear switches that have come pre-lubed and have a 40 gram actuation force with a 1.5 millimeter travel distance and a really satisfying sound. It's honestly one of my favorite parts about this keyboard is just the sound of the keyboard. It has such a good I don't even know what the proper term is to describe it. almost clacky, but not loud. Very smooth feeling. Everything feels like it has a very nice responsive snap back to it, and honestly is not too hard to press. Overall, just extremely love the sound and the feel of these switches that are on board. And frankly, I think I found my new favorite switches. I thought that I really liked those clicky, blue switches that I had on my Chimera, but I have to say, I think that I like these linear switches that are crystal custom ones from Redragon. They're even labeled Redragon, as you can see right here. This is excellent for typing and has an incredibly satisfying sound when you're typing. I'll try to include some sound in just a little bit right after here. And it's much less harsh than my Chimera, and I really appreciate that. And because they're pre-lubed, there's very little setup to get a good experience. It's plug and play. And I think that that is the biggest part of this review that hopefully you guys take from it, is that it is a really, really, really comfortable keyboard out of the box immediately. So now on to RGB. Wanted to highlight this because it's the best part of the keyboard. Unlike most RGB keyboards, the lighting shines through extremely well because of its transparent design. I shot this video right here in a dark environment to give you an idea of what the lighting effects look like. But I have to say, it looks way better in person than it does on video, no matter what I tried. My iPhone 13 Pro, it just did not capture the quality of the colors of the LEDs or anything like that. It made it look overblown. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. The video does not do it justice. It looks much better in person, even than what it looks like on camera. The LEDs are also extremely bright and have a fast response time. They have different levels of brightness that you can go through. You can control all of the different options. You can control how fast things pulsate on certain profiles as well. And it's honestly a statement piece for a white or simple setup with your gaming setup. So I really do think that this is a really nice one. The only thing I would change from a visual perspective is I think that the actual fonts on the keyboard are a little aggressive and don't truly fit the vibe that the see-through design is going for. So I would hope that they would change that. This is something you could fix with keycaps, but I do think that these included keycaps do feel really nice, and so I may not change them at all. Overall, this so far this keyboard has really impressed me a lot more than I expected. I thought I had settled in on a switch type that I had liked with the blue clicky switches, but this has completely changed my mind. If you're looking for a mid-range 60% wired keyboard that will make anyone who sees it stop and ask, this is probably the one for you. And also, it's not going to break the bank at $49.99. It is not an absurdly expensive keyboard. I feel like this is everybody's second keyboard. And it's a really, really nice opportunity to kind of downsize and get more room on your desk if that's something you're looking for. Now, check out the link in the description if you are interested. And we have an affiliate link that will help out the channel and will also get you 10% off your order as well. So check that out if you are interested. I do highly recommend this. I think this is probably a 4.5 out of 5 in my early testing. So don't worry about it. Go ahead and make the purchase if it's something you're interested in. If you like a good, clear, transparent keyboard and you're interested in nice, very smooth linear switches that are highly made and everything like that, you're going to have a great time with this keyboard. So thanks again. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and as always, stay classy, coders.